then just to kind of give you a rundown real quick, I have a fender cover here. I got a seat here. I don't really use the seat a lot. I have the Fat Guy Creeper. I use that every once in a while. I've had it for 20 years. This is a Dana case spreader down here, this yellow thing. And so whenever you're working on a Dana rear differential, you can go and put these little, I'll show you real quick. You can put these little pieces inside there's two little recessions on either side of the carrier, and you can spread this apart. So 15 thousandths is all you get. And this thing weighs a ton. So I use that occasionally. These are AC gauges. If you've got a car that has like suspect leak or unknown type of refrigerant in it, you want to use these instead of running it through one of your machines, because you don't want to get air or suspect refrigerant in your machine, because then you have to get it out of there and it's a pain. And so I'd rather just know. And a lot of times all you have is this residual pressure from the system being empty, but it's sealed up enough that, you know, it's got like a leak from a compressor seal or something, but it's sealed up enough that it builds up like a static pressure of like 50 psi. You want to use this to kind of like bleed that air off. I know that there's probably somewhere in California, Prop 65 is probably, you know, assembling an army to come arrest me, but boo-hoo. This is the world's worst welding helmet. It is one that Lindsay sold me. The battery goes dead on it in about 2.1 hours. So I never leave the batteries in it because it will be dead. I think you're supposed to leave it out too. I don't know. It looks cool hanging from my cabinet. You know, I got this cabinet. I paid a whopping $5 for it at a garage sale.
That's a bargain.
And then I accidentally took all the paint off. It used to be in much better shape until I owned it. So, and then up here is a clean bucket. I use that for my coolant refiller. And then I have like some bleeder cans. And I just take these old oil buckets, and so I label them. And I have caps for most of them. And I have bleeder cans and you know, bleeder buckets and stuff like that. And then if you've ever changed oil on a Toyota with a V6, if you keep an old oil bottle, you can stick it underneath the, you know, because the filter screws on from the top. That little drain hole, this fits perfectly underneath it.
Oh.
So you catch all the residual oil. So that's where those go. Nothing special. So, all right, you want to take a break for a second and kick the heater on, or you want to keep going?
I don't mind keeping going if you don't mind keeping going.
Can I move your light?
Yeah, it's lit.
All right, we're gonna come in here, and this is kind of a catch-all. So this is part of my, this is a vacuum bleeder I have. These are some bags I have. These are all, this is shop tools. These don't belong to me, but they're for my use. I can use them. I have some welding gloves in here. I have another air bag. There's a couple of Milwaukee bags, a soft case, some jumper wires. I have a bunch of jumper wires back here. There's a plethora of jumper wires back here. And there's it's not the most organized thing in the world. And then I have some extra tape. I'll show you what I use tape for. I have a couple different timing lights. I have a heat gun. These are all of like the cheap Harbor Freight variety, or, you know, like whatever the part store had. This is a propane torch. This is part of a short finder for the Power Probe kit, with some extra butane for my mini torch and my mini soldering iron. I got some other different, like, you know, light bulb testers. Like if you need like a half amp light bulb to test a circuit with, this is a good one. This is something I made from parts store. A lot of, like, you know, homemade stuff in here. This is a memory saver for a jumper pack. So if you're doing something where you have to disconnect the battery, you can use this as a memory saver. That gets used almost never. This is a power probe, and I think I had, these are two different extension leads for my power probe, and then I have my, my Chuck Norris, Walker Texas Ranger 9000 jump starter here. Right here, what we have is this is like a siphon spray gun. If you want to siphon a chemical in to clean something with. What I use this for is on like rear differentials. Whenever the bearings get really bad, and you get like bearing paste down the axle tubes. I like to stick this down there, but I don't use a solvent. What I use like a Purple Power, or everybody knows what Purple Power is, and I just mix it like 4-to-1 with a water solution, and I just spray in there. And then I typically chase it with either it's water, brake clean, or I just go and use like a rag or something like that. But I don't use this a lot, and there's no air fitting in it because I probably stole it for something else. So, and then here's my smoke machine. The shop's got a smoke machine as well, but I picked that guy up just because it was a good deal. It was used. I actually know who owned it before, but we're not gonna mention names. But I picked it up because it's like if I'm doing on-site work, I need to take a smoke machine with me. I can't take the the $4,000 Snap-on. Whatever, it's not $4,000. It's like $1,400 Snap-on one with me. All right, this is pretty cool right here. This is the rest of the parts for it. We got cups, a light, some more. It's like baby oil basically, and then some adapters, some other adapters and whatnot's in there. So whenever you like, if you have to go on site, you have to check, you know, for whatever, it works out pretty well. I'm gonna set this over here because I want to show you all this next thing. This is my flaring kit, and it is all here. All right. So if you're doing any kind of brake line flares, I got these brake line, you know, adapters here. You can do all standard sizes, SAE. You know, there's some bubble flare options on here as well. So this is just what this does. Is you just put these dies in there. You take this, and it's a 3-step process, and it goes a lot faster than the regular flaring kit. I don't know what the part number is. It's a K tool. Let's see, K tool. It's a KTI 781. So brake flaring kit. So if you do a lot of custom brake lines or custom fuel lines, pick one up. You'll use it all the time. This is a refrigerant scale right here, and we use this at the Fitzhugh shop all the time because I have 2 AC machines here at this shop, so to use. But when we're charging something at the Fitzhugh shop, or if you do like a custom installation, you need to weigh your charge, and you can't take an AC machine with you. You can always use this, or you can weigh your weed on it too, whatever you want.
No judgment.
Oh, it's a joke. I'm only serious. All right, and then this my dad gave me about a few years ago, but this goes with that whole Napa set with the 3/4 drives, as you can see. And you can tell I have sockets marked because whenever you do like a pinion seal, you want to mark it and then you count your rotations off. And so I always give myself a hard mark on the nut, the socket, the yoke, everything. So that's kind of know, but I just keep them in here because it's quick, it's easy, and that my toolbox is already so full of sockets. I'm always afraid I'm gonna damage a drawer, because a shop I used to work at, one of the guys, he had a drawer that was so loaded down it started to bow, and even though it's got like a heavy duty frame channel and stuff like that, it still bowed. So I was leery about it. So that's why I've broken it all up like I have. This is an AC crimp tool here. It's pretty standard stuff. I bought it on like Amazon or eBay or something like that. I was doing I did a couple of vintage air custom, you know, like custom AC installations on old vehicles. And it worked out pretty well. So it was worth whatever. I think I paid $100 for it, maybe. I don't know, maybe a little more, 150. Down here, this is snap-on vac, like a brake bleeder. Here, it works all right. The best part about it is it has this gravity reservoir where you just stick it on the top of the master and it fills up the master while you're bleeding it. So we use this without using the bleeder a lot of times, just because it, you top off the master and gravity bleed it without you doing that. This is my drill pump, and the drill pump hoses are, there's a drain bucket over there in the shop, but this is what I use, and I just ratchet strap this to this wood table over here, and then I just set my drill on there, and I set my drill on go. There's a little rubber band that goes from here to here, and it was triggered on, and this guy just runs off a little 3/8 fitting, and that's why you saw my pneumatic drill earlier. So this is my drill pump. So I just, you just let it go. This is my air tool oil. I have a smaller reservoir bottle that I have in my roll cart, and I oil every day. I mean, like when it says oil daily, I really do. If I'm not using it, I don't like pull it out of the drawer and oil it, obviously, but oil it. This is a radiator funnel, nothing big. Behind that is a large grip mat. It's just a bigger version of those 2 grip mats over there. Whenever you're pulling the transmissions, here's a set of plugs that you can put in the back, just keep them from, you know, leaking pissing all over your shoes while you're pulling the tranny out. This is something cool right here. I actually own 2 of these. This is my, well, actually, I kind of have like 3 sets of funnels, but this is a quick funnel where you go and you have all these different pieces. And I like this over the Lyle version because these are higher flow fittings right here. The only thing you have to be careful about is on some vehicles, on their oil filler neck, they have a vent tube that runs to their oil filler neck, and you can actually flood the air filter tube with it. So you just have to pay attention to what you're doing. But for the most part, they work good. And then I have this guy right here, and we use like the brake clean in there, the salt. But you know, being a 2-man shop, there's not a need for us to carry a liquid, because the cans are just as good. So, and then down here, I'm not going to go into depth. This is where I keep all my cleaning supplies. You can see I have like additional like crud, nuts and bolts and whatever. These are new bolts, new nuts, you know, they're all there. This is part of my Swiffer. It's kind of a catch-all down here. This is some copper nickel alloy. So, like if I gotta make a breaker fuel line, I have like some copper nickel alloy. I have a box of fittings in here. This is kind of catch-all. So, when I said I don't pay for storage, I don't pay a lot for storage. That's pretty much this. Like I said, this is all shop tools right here. So, and I can, if I ever need to take them outside, I can always take them outside. But I try to typically just to stay with what I got. I don't know. Anything else?
I think we pretty much covered.
I mean, we've been here for a while. Like my fingertips are blue.
We've been here a while. We have covered more today than I think any other Toolbox tour video has ever covered. So thank you very much
You're welcome.
for all the time, the information, all your input. Getting a thorough tour like this is invaluable because both new technicians and seasoned pros are going to get some benefit out of seeing how someone like yourself who's conscientious, who cares about the quality of his tools long after the day you bought them is really important. And hopefully everyone can pick up a few tips and tricks.
Yeah,
process.
I mean, that's all the process is about, is sharing with everybody, make sure everybody can get better. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Now in the future, we got some great upcoming videos with some tools in the haul segments, as well as some Matco toolbox and tool cart reviews. So do me a favor, click down here to subscribe now so that you don't miss any of it. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, use a tool. Don't be one.